All right, all I need is one. All I need is one. Here we go. And y'all, look, the reason I'm running these videos back to back is because, end up saying something in the previous video that makes me think, right? So let's talk about Vegas, right? But let's start with the B sector edition of Vegas first. And of course, y'all know it is me unapologetically QI entering the building. I have to keep remember I'm speaking to the B sector, which I am. But it's QI in the building. And I know I'm running these videos back to back to back to back to back because it's about exposure. It's about getting the truth out there, and it's about like breaking down stuff. So like when I went on my first time speaking out, I think was on Nest panel. First time I talked so fast they didn't understand nothing I said. So I went back up there and I started, gradually trying to break down. But one of the things I'm realizing, just like the reason I didn't go on Pizza's panel, is that it's hard to get on panels and break down stuff, or it's hard to get on panels and talk it like when you're interrupted, especially for somebody like me with ADHD. And it like and a lot of times when I'm on panels, I don't want to take over the panel. So I try to like shorten it or be as quick as possible. And I end up leaving out details or either it may or may not make sense. All right. So, like, this is Vegas edition, right? We're going to start with the beef sector Vegas. Now, y'all notice that thumbnail? I want y'all to notice that thumbnail because I think that's like I don't know if that was the beef sector edition of Lemon's thumbnail or the panel verse or whatever they call them, Resto's version of the Vegas play. But at any rate, let's start with the beef sector, right? Okay, so the beef sector, Nest, we know that Nest, they got a sponsorship for Lemon and Nest to go to California first. So it was Lemon's idea to go to Vegas. Then all of a sudden, there was this, production where Lemon got $7,000 or whatever to buy a new car, right? Because it was some type of special casting or something. Ness and Lemon were going to have to film. They were going to have to film like the show, like Sean Bradley's show, like Sean Bradley's production, right? So, that's what they put us in the mind of. Like they were about to, like do a show, and as we call it in the B sector that, the B sector knows Sean Bradley type thing, right? All right. So, like we had no other choice but to sit and wait. And every day up until they went to Vegas, they were talking about they got a limousine to pick them up from the airport. They were talking about, luxurious hotel. They were talking about Tiny Elvis, the marriage, and then Ness was supposed to have sex with Lemon, and and Ness was supposed to pretend like she was pregnant or something or either pretend like she was pregnant because you can't guarantee you'll get pregnant. All right, so uh, they when they got to Vegas, they met with who? They met with talent. And remember, this is also the time that Sassy was trying to make sure that she had sponsored uh what's her name? Sheffy to go with them. And remember the Sheffy, she met with Sheffy in Chicago and the Sheffy debacle, where the picture. Sassy's picture got out here. So I'm just running you over some key details here. But when they got to Vegas, they met with talent. All right. And there ended up being no marriage and all of that, and we know why. And anyways, when they got back to, and then Shakim, we know about that, the computer. Okay, so let me go with Shakim and the computer. In order for Lemon intentionally brought back some evidence, right? And if he brought back some evidence on Shakim, then hmm he was trying to gather a little evidence on everybody. He didn't want to meet with KRN. He didn't want to meet with several people. I don't know why or what that was about, but that's a little debacle on its own. But KRN shortly quickly realized that Lemon never liked him, right? And why? All right. Uh Lemon was mad that Shakim ended up choosing Ness, or Ness and Shakim chose each other over him. So basically Lemon, he was doing a what you call it, throwing out shots. He started shots fired. He started throwing out shots, right? Now I'm not knowing, I'm sitting in the audience. I didn't go to Vegas. I wasn't a part of the planning. I wasn't part of none of this. So I'm not knowing what actually really went on. And then we know friends break up and make up all the time in the B sector, like I stated earlier. So like I'm just like I'm cool with Ness. I'm cool with him. Um um there was things going on with Ness prior, and I sort of exited the building because, okay, well, let me just go ahead and say I was hanging out with Ness over there with Ness, supporting Ness. And every time somebody came up and they launched an attack and I was on defense, uh, they would always bring up VS, right? And it started with Haiti. It started with Haiti. You need to do this with VS. And then I'm just, luckily enough, I was smart enough to like not take the bait and say nothing negative about VS. I realized like what was happening. They wanted me to say something negative about VS, and they wanted me and VS to get into it. That's what that was about, right? And like it, and then with the lesbian stuff, I don't know who brought lesbianas forth or whatever, but me and lesbianas are cool now. But really they wanted lesbianas and I to fight, you know, and I couldn't sit there for the life of me because I wasn't over there in TFCC when lesbianas was over there. So like there was no reason, like I couldn't figure out for any reason why I should fight lesbianas or why I should be mad at her. So like one day I just told her, I was like, I don't know why, we're mad. I don't know why, like, we mad at each other. I'm not with that stud on stud competition. Because what's for you is for you. I've never had any problems in my, problems or whatever. And I'm sure lesbianas hadn't had any of her own. We see she hasn't had any problems of her own. And so uh basically it was just like people wanted me and lesbians to fight, but I couldn't. I like I would I would respond back to her. I was on the defense with her too, and then so finally I told her, and then we ended up getting along and realizing that like we really don't have no problem with each other, right? And we ended up getting along. All right. So VS got mad. VS was sort of mad about that. Her name kept coming up. And so, and she felt like Ness was lightweight launching an attack towards her. Especially after Ness went over there to support VS, went over there to the Halloween thing or whatever, right? And Ness and VS ended up falling out, and then Ness just started like coming at VS, and then VS came hard at Ness, right? So I was like, oh, so that put me in a very uncomfortable position, especially when everybody kept coming up there still, and I'm like, which goes to like VS ended up. Y'all, I'm back. If you can hear me, I'm back. Sorry about that. My phone had died. I was sitting there, I didn't even know that my phone had died. But let me do a quick recap. Or should I start this one over? I don't even know because it was such a pause. It was such a pause. It was such a pause. Basically, I was going over the B Sector Vegas. I think I'm gonna start this one up and come right back again. Yeah, I'm gonna start this one up and come right back again because I don't want the point to be lost. I don't want the points to be lost.